The Undertaker is retired. Maybe. I don't know. I think anybody knows for sure, and WWE deliberately are really ambiguous about the whole thing, so we don't actually know what the man known as Mark Calloway is doing. But let's just pretend he's retired because it certainly seems like he retired. The dead man is over. He's gone. He's been buried. If you get, see what I'm doing there, buried, and he's dead. And it means it's the end of one of the greatest runs ever. But you know what? I think we could have done this a lot better. Or, at the very least, I think The Undertaker deserves a better retirement match. Why? Here's why. Now, everything I'm about to say is kind of impossible because WWE has already done it, or at least they insinuated as much. So if you try and then backtrack on it, some of the impact is going to be taken away. Because of course, the first time you do something, that's when you have your big explosion. And then if you try and do it again, well, the explosions get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I mean, he did, right? He did retire. You don't take off all your iconic clothes and leave them in the middle of the ring and then, like, descend into the rampway unless you want to give the message that, you know what, maybe I'm done. Well, unless you're really stupid and didn't think things through, but then what are you doing, WWE? Use your brains. Sheesh. The point is, for a storied career like The Undertaker has, his last hurrah was just a bit like, oh, okay, cool. And Roman Reigns retired him because of course Roman Reigns retired him. But all right, let's see what happens on Raw. That's not how you retire somebody like The Undertaker. And the whole retirement stipulation should have been played up huge before the match at the very least. So when that referee's hand comes smashing down for the 3, everyone in the crowd would be like, oh, sugar. We know what just happened. That kind of stuff does carry a serious amount of weight. Take WrestleMania 30, right? Imagine that Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker, and then it was the following night on Raw, you had Michael Cole going, oh guys, guess what? We didn't tell you. He had a really big streak. I mean, you may know of that anyway, just by watching, but if a bigger deal is made beforehand, a bigger deal can be made afterhand. And afterhand isn't a word, but it worked. And again, we can now never do this in the way we may want, because we've seen it once and we've already done this, what happens once, blah, 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 blah. But if there is a better idea out there, that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it anyway, especially if it's going to be a more fitting end. A lot of this naturally ties into what actually The Undertaker can do in the ring. He's clocked up loads of miles over the years, so probably the match he did have with Roman Reigns was the best possible match he could have. Because he's a broken man after killing himself for 25 years or whatever it was. When pro wrestling catches up to you, there's not a lot you can do, and that's why you've got all the vets telling the young guys, slow down. Father Time is going to come and whoop your ass. And he always does. But the bout itself was lackluster, and that doesn't seem right. And I know it ticked all the boxes. He put the young up-and-comer over, and it was the main event of WrestleMania, but it didn't work. The simple fact of the matter is, it didn't work, or at least it didn't have that huge pata that you'd want The Undertaker retiring to have. In short, it didn't feel right. And it really should have felt right. This means we do have to turn our attention to his opponent. And first and foremost, I quite like Roman Reigns, and I don't think he gets anywhere near the amount of credit that he should get. That doesn't mean he worked here, doesn't mean he was the right guy to be standing across the ring from The Undertaker. And again, given the era The Undertaker came from, I think there were better choices out there. Look at Shawn Michaels. He had his big blow-off with The Undertaker, and those two had been going at it for years. Take Steve Austin. His third match was the ending of a trilogy with The Rock, and all those 3 matches in some form or fashion are really good. So all of a sudden, you see the difference here. Now, technically, using the legacy of The Undertaker to try and help Reigns is a smart thing to do. But again, it doesn't mean that in practice, it worked, because it didn't. If anything, WWE didn't take this and make a big enough deal out of it, because Roman Reigns will say it every now and then, but they should have rammed it home. It should have been this huge thing for weeks or months, not just casual lines he throws out there every now and then when he's trying to shoot with John Cena. Also, Reigns feels the same now as he did back in April. So, it didn't do anything. If it didn't do anything, it failed. Is that what the last moment of a legendary career should amount to? No. Absolutely no. So what do we do? Well, that is up for debate. But as a kid from the 90s, my first choice would always be Kane. And yes, that match would absolutely suck because, again, they're now older men who can't move like they used to. But with the right booking, I think it'd be damn enjoyable, and again, I just want this for a nostalgia trip, because nostalgia's awesome. Then there's a Triple H or even a Brock Lesnar. I know we've done those two things time and time again, but I just think there were better stories to be told with those guys. And the fallout from all of that would have given you the grandeur that you were looking for, at least the grandeur we were looking for before WrestleMania 33 came and went. And what if Taker does come back to vanquish Roman? That's going to be even worse. That's going to make the whole thing even more redundant than it is at the moment. Yeah, sure, his first initial comeback, that initial return, is going to get a massive pop from the crowd, but then you have another match. It's not going to be any better than what we did at WrestleMania 33, so we're going to lower the bar even further still. To be honest, the best thing that WWE could do now is plan an over-the-top and amazing celebration when The Undertaker does go in the Hall of Fame, because at least then that sight, that vision, can be the last memory you have. I don't mean literally. I don't mean The Undertaker is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, we're all going to die. I don't mean the last thing you see. I mean, like, you know, a hero thing, like a worship thing, like you're like, oh, I'm so sad, my hero, The Undertaker, he's gone into the Hall of Fame and that's it. But you carry on, you have another day, you have to go to work and pay your bills and all that nonsense. Let's take a minute to realise though, that even The Undertaker got caught up in the Roman Reigns experiment. Even The Undertaker was deemed worthy to push into that boat to try and get Reigns over. Just think what the man's done. Multiple world championship. He's won the Royal Rumble twice, is it now? Or at least he's done it at least once, I know that, but it's a lot. He's headlined 3 WrestleManias in a row, probably going to headline WrestleMania 34. What a career Roman Reigns is having. And all in the hope, all this is done in the hope that one extra person may start cheering him. Makes sense. Fascinating, to be honest with you. It's almost like a scientific experiment into how WWE is handling the big dog. And it's well stubborn. Can't argue that, it's really stubborn. It's like a child with its toy, and no matter what you do or say, it won't let go. I swear, what an interesting time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, it makes no sense. It's like having a fight with a dog and the dog keeps whooping your ass and you go back and fight with the dog again. Too many dog references, but if Roman Reigns can do it, so can I. So yeah, The Undertaker. He went out on a bit of a whimper, and that kind of sucks for someone that's probably the greatest wrestler, or at least had the greatest gimmick of all time. Do we see anything else from him? I don't know. But maybe next time those rumours pop up, take them with a grain of salt. Now don't forget to let us know in the comments what you think about The Undertaker's retirement. Like, share and subscribe. Go on over to whatculture.com and read some articles. Then follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. My name is Simon from What Culture. If this was the first time watching the Why series, it's a series where we put why at the start of the title and ask a question or give a statement, and that's what we've just done. So let's finish the video.